Ellen rolled over onto her back, feeling the rays of the morning sun on her face, though her eyes remained closed. She snuggled against Dave, savoring his warmth. She'd had a lot to drink the night before, her mouth was as dry as Death Valley, and she had a terrible urge to go to the bathroom, but she didn't feel like getting up. God, what a night! They must have been at it for 2 hours or more. Finally, reluctantly, she opened her eyes and sat up, reacting to the pressure in her bladder. No sooner had she focused her gaze on the man sitting in the chair across from her than she heard his voice. "Good morning," Dave said cheerfully. It was his special morning greeting. He'd been doing it since they'd started living together in their sophomore year of college. Ellen shook her head in surprise and blinked rapidly, trying to figure out how Dave could be in 2 places at once. He smiled at her from his chair, and Ellen gasped. She frantically reached back to touch the sleeping body next to her. Too late, she remembered that this was not her husband, whom she had entertained so vigorously all night. "Mike," she hissed, "get up! It's Dave, he's back!" Mike snorted sleepily, and a moment later awoke as if struck by a whip. Turning around, he stared in horror at Dave's smiling face. "Mike, hi," Dave said calmly. "Did you have a good night? Ellen's quite the prankster, isn't she? Just like an Energizer bunny, she's always working and working and working. Boy, you guys look like you're half asleep. Have you been up all night?" Ellen clutched at the covers on the bed. "Dave," she said cautiously, thought you weren't coming back until tomorrow night." "That's about what I thought, honey," he laughed. "Hell, you wouldn't have left that bastard overnight if you'd known I was coming home tonight. You're usually pretty careful about that, aren't you? But as it happens, the job in Cincinnati took a lot less time than we anticipated. And here I am," he said cheerfully. "So, Mike," Dave continued, "haven't seen you in a while. How's your son Andy doing? Is his work on the software still going well?" Mike didn't answer anything. Instead, he watched Dave intently, trying to pick up his boxers from the floor beside the bed and put them on. Ellen was still too stunned to speak. Watching Mike, Dave laughed and said, "There's no point in trying to get out of here now, Mike. You're practically dead, and there's nothing you can do." He pulled out his cell phone and pressed a button, and a minute later said, "Hi, Barbara. Yes, it's just like I said. Why don't you come in? The front door is open." For about 20 seconds, Dave continued to sit, smiling in his chair, while Ellen stared at him in horror, and Mike rummaged wildly through his pants. When Barbara burst into the room, she went straight for Mike. "Motherfucker!" she shouted, angrily pouncing on him with a large bag. He dodged and raised his arms, but she managed to land 6 or 8 good blows that made his hands and forehead bleed before she backed away. "Don't you dare even come home, you piece of shit!" she shouted. "My brothers will drop your shit off at your parents' house this weekend, and until then you can keep wearing what you put on so you can come here and sleep with your whore. Maybe borrow her thong panties if you need a change of underwear." She turned to Dave, her angry expression softening, and she said, "Thanks again, Dave, and I'm sorry." "It's not your fault, Barb," he replied. She kissed him on the cheek and headed back down the stairs. Mike hung his head, tears welling up in his eyes. "God, what am I going to do now?" he muttered. Ellen grabbed her robe and rushed into the bathroom, avoiding Dave's gaze. She slammed the door behind her, and a moment later the sounds of a shower were heard. "Well, Mike, I think you should get dressed, get out of here, and get to work. Though I'm guessing you don't really want to. You probably don't feel very awake. But it's going to be even worse tonight when you get back to your house and realize it's no longer yours. There's no way Barbara will let you back in. Maybe you should go to the theater. Who knows? Maybe Barbara will show up too." Dave laughed. "Yeah, but maybe not. Chances are she'll be packing all your shit in boxes. Looks like you're really going to be on your own, huh? I hope you don't have to sleep outside." Mike didn't even try to respond. Putting his head down, he gathered his clothes and left the room. When Ellen came out of the shower in her robe and with a towel around her wet hair, the bedroom was empty. She walked down the stairs and timidly entered the kitchen where Dave was sitting at the table with a cup of coffee and a plate of scrambled eggs and toast. He set the cup of coffee down for her as well. She sat down and looked at him mournfully. "Dave, I'm so awful." "It's all right, Ellen, really. What a day, huh?" Dave laughed merrily. Confused, she shook her head slightly. "No, Dave, I'm sorry. I'm so ashamed that you found us like this." Silence. Unable to bear it any longer, she asked in a tiny voice, "What are you going to do?" He laughed. "Yeah? Nothing, Elle. It's certainly not up to me. How about you, though? What are you going to do to fix it? Got any great ideas?" "No, but... can I try to explain? I know it's awful, but..." She paused, shuddering slightly. She sipped her coffee. "But it was the first time, I swear. You were away and I went shopping, met Mike in town, we had tea, and then..." "Stop!" shouted Dave, raising his hand, and all cheerfulness suddenly vanished. And then, calmer already, "Just don't, okay, Al? Spare me this nonsense. I've known about you and that scumbag for over 6 weeks now." She sighed but said nothing. "It was a beautiful day, early May. I was feeling just fine, but suddenly I couldn't stand being in the office, so I went out and walked around town for an hour. I was on the path that goes past the old double-day school, and there you two were, on a blanket in a little clearing in the woods." Dave made a grimace and pulled out his phone. "Want to see pictures?" Ellen only shook her head, staring at the table. "I don't know why I was even surprised, you know? It's not even something new, not something different. This is the same place I caught you with Mr. Henderson, the gym teacher, for crying out loud before we were even engaged. Remember? You told me he was just teaching you how to do somersets, except your skirt was up, your boobs sticking out of your shirt?" Suddenly, Dave slammed one hand on the table, making her jump up. "You couldn't even find another place to mess with me?" He stood up and started pacing, holding his cup in his hands. "I can tell you one thing. That was the first day, the very first day in 6 years, that I stopped feeling stupid about that prenup my father insisted on. He saw right through you much better than I did." And now... Dave's smile returned, though his eyes narrowed. "Everything will be all right now, I think. I'll be out of here in a few hours with my stuff, and the apartment will be yours. I hope you can handle the mortgage and utilities alone, Elle. I'm moving into a nice little apartment downtown, close to work, where everyone you see has lots of energy, lots of events. You get a chance to meet new people." Pulling out his phone, he pressed the button again and waited a minute. "Hi, Rita. It's me. Yeah, everything's all set. I'll see you in about half an hour. Yes, save a parking space for me, thank you. Thank you. And you're beautiful. Bye." Ellen was already sobbing, frustrated. "Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry I've been such an idiot. I don't know what to say to you." "I don't know what you could say, Elle." He then pulled on his coat and checked his pockets for his wallet and keys. Turning, he took a large envelope from the microwave lid and placed it on the table in front of her. Leaning over, he touched her cheek almost gently with his hand. "I don't have anything to say, but that's okay.